We all have secrets. What is yours? Silent Secrets Audio. Confess in the comments.
The padlock on the repeater gate was hanging open when I arrived, but the chain had been looped back through it, so it looked locked from the road. That was the first thing I noticed in my headlights. The second was a pair of fresh boot prints crossing the dust toward the equipment shelter. There had been no rain for 11 days, and our access log showed nobody assigned there after 6. I was 46 then, working overnight callouts for a telecommunications contractor northwest of Thunder Bay. That July, wildfire smoke had settled over everything. The sun went orange by supper. The Air Quality Health Index stayed near the top of the scale, and communities farther north were under evacuation alerts. My job was checking backup power at remote cell sites when hydro lines failed. I drove a white 3/4 ton with our company name on the doors, 2 fuel cans, a satellite messenger, and enough water to wait out a road closure. The alarm had come in at 10:18 p.m. It showed low generator fuel, which made sense because a brief outage had hit the township earlier. I called dispatch from the last gas station with service, bought a coffee, and wrote the rural route number on the Tim Hortons receipt because the turnoff was easy to miss in smoke. At the gate, I assumed another contractor had arrived first and forgotten to sign in. Then, I saw that both boot prints pointed toward the shelter. None pointed back. I stayed in the truck and called dispatch on the radio. The signal broke up, but the dispatcher said nobody else had been sent. While she checked with the utility, I heard a man's voice through the open channel say, very quietly, "He's at the lower gate." I asked who had transmitted. Dispatch said she had heard static, nothing else. The site had an upper service road used by forestry crews, so I locked my doors and backed around to leave. My reverse lights showed a length of yellow chain stretched across the road behind me. It was not our chain. Someone had fastened it between 2 jack pines at bumper height, low enough that I had driven over it on the way in, but high enough now to catch the truck if I reversed quickly. I got out only long enough to cut it with bolt cutters from the side compartment. That was when I noticed the generator cabinet was open and our brass fuel cap was lying in the gravel. The tank was nearly full. The low fuel alarm had been created by unplugging the sender wire. I climbed back in and tried the satellite messenger. Before it connected, the site lights came on, shut off, then came on again. Someone inside the shelter was cycling the breaker. My phone suddenly joined the local network and received 3 queued texts from an unknown number. They were not threats. They were copies of my company's internal callout notices, including my name, truck number, and the note that I usually worked alone because I lived closest. The newest message said, "Use lower access. Upper road unsafe." I knew that wording. It was how our former field coordinator, Dale, wrote instructions. Dale had been fired 2 months earlier after fuel discrepancies at several sites. Management told us he had been charging personal diesel to emergency accounts, but nobody treated him as dangerous. He still knew the gate combinations, the weak radio areas, and which shelters had old locks. I called my supervisor through the satellite device and sent a location pin. He told me the upper road had never been declared unsafe. He also said Dale's access codes had supposedly been canceled. A flashlight appeared above me on the ridge, moving between the trees toward the upper road. Then another light came on near the shelter behind my truck. I could not tell whether there were two people or one person using a timer. Smoke had reduced visibility to maybe 60 meters, and ash was landing on the windshield like gray snow. The generator stopped. With the ventilation fans off, heat inside the shelter would trigger more alarms and possibly knock out local service. I realized that was the point. Every new alarm would bring another technician to the same gate. I did not try to drive through the upper road. I used the truck's winch to pull one end of the cut chain around a tree, then dragged it across the service track behind me. I switched off my headlights, crawled forward using only the amber marker lights, and took an old snowmobile trail shown on our maintenance map. Branches scraped both mirrors, but the trail rejoined the township road beside a frozen culvert warning sign. I reached the volunteer fire hall 20 minutes later. An OPP officer and 2 forestry workers went back with me after midnight. The shelter was empty. They found Dale's pickup hidden beyond the ridge and detained him at a seasonal cabin the next morning. Dale admitted creating alarms so he could steal fuel and copper after technicians left. He denied sending the internal notices and claimed he had worked alone. Investigators later found printed call-out sheets in his truck, along with copied gate keys and a list of 7 repeater sites. My company changed every code and stopped solo night responses during wildfire outages. I left the job that fall. The part I cannot explain is the first radio transmission. The equipment record showed the site repeater had been powered down 6 minutes before I arrived. Dale's handheld was found in his locked pickup with its battery removed.